Good morning. Today on Spotlight, inside the Detroit Public Schools Community District's major investment in its facilities and how that fits into the community's long-term education improvement plan. Superintendent Dr. Nikolai Vitti will be one of my guests. And later on our Sunday morning program, we'll check in with Sandy Barua, President and CEO of the Detroit Regional Chamber, with just over a week to go before the start of the annual Mackinac Policy Conference on Mackinac Island. It's Sunday, May the 22nd. I'm Chuck Stokes, and this is Spotlight. Dr. Vitti, thanks so much for joining us today on Spotlight. Good seeing you again on this side of the pandemic. $700 million investment approved by the board. What's the message to the community with this investment?
We're excited. I mean, I think the message is it's a long time coming, and we've learned how to normalize buildings that are not at the same standard as school buildings in other districts. Because of just high taxes in the city, a bond really didn't make sense. And one of the few benefits of the pandemic was COVID relief funding, $1.3 billion, which has helped us, work through the challenges of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And we've done things like, expand summer school program, after school programming, expand mental health, hire more teachers, lower class sizes. But this is a $700 million investment in our buildings. So we're going to see some brand new buildings at places like Cody High School, Pershing High School, some new wings to buildings to address overcrowding at places like Western or Southeastern. It's about investing in neighborhood schools to try to bring residents back to their neighborhood schools, rebuilding feeder patterns. And then it's something significant like putting air conditioning in all buildings. So only 35% of our buildings have air conditioning in 5 years. Because of the $700 million investment. 95% of our buildings will have air. And this means a lot for our teachers and our students who, in August, late June, we sometimes can have to go half days because it's so warm in those buildings. So the message is dramatic improvement in facilities without raising taxes, one penny.
You've also asked the board for approval to lift the moratorium on some of the vacant properties that you own. Why is that significant?
Well, first off, when we drive through Detroit, you see a lot of vacant school buildings. The fact is, DPSCD only owns about 30 of those properties. The other properties are mainly owned by the city of Detroit. But with our 30 properties, some we're going to reactivate because we either want to address overcrowding, mainly in K-8s, but we also want to reactivate to expand pre-K and create early learning centers. But then there are other properties that we want to hold on to because it might be a long-term solution in a certain neighborhood based on growth. But then there's other properties we don't have a use for. And there's no reason to keep those buildings closed, haven, sometimes for crime, just blight. So that moratorium will allow us now to go through a process that we're still working on the details with the school board, but put those up for sale, do an appraisal. Over the last 5 years, we haven't sold anything below appraisal value unless there was a previous lease buy contract connected to the school. So it allows us, I think, to improve and address blight in the city and then reactivate some buildings to better use, or to continue to mothball some buildings to keep in the DPSCD portfolio if we see residential increases in certain parts of the city.
Sure. Let me go back to the original dollars that we talked about, $700 million for this investment. When you did a study, though, of all of the buildings in the system, it came back and said if you brought all of them up to the standard of when they were new buildings, then it would cost $2.1 billion. Now, obviously, that's a whole boatload of money that you can't just go out and grab in one swoop. But that gives people, I think, some idea that even though $700 million sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, that it's really just a part of what long-term you've got to do to get those buildings back to where you want to have them that fits into your 20-year master plan.
And you framed it perfectly. $700 million is a lot of money. We're excited about all the work that we're going to be able to do with it, but really we still need about a 1.3 more billion to address all of the needs. Now, we all know the infrastructure challenges in this country. In Michigan, here in Michigan, we talk about roads all the time. But we also have a school building issue, even outside of Detroit. The state of Michigan doesn't earmark any dollars separately for construction or for maintenance of buildings. So school districts really take out of their general fund to do any kind of maintenance work or increase taxes through bonds in order to generate that revenue. Right now, as we know, Detroiters are paying already a lot in taxes. So we don't think right now, short term, the solution to get the other amount of dollars is another bond. We may look at that in 5 years. We want to get these $700 million of projects right on time, within budget. And I think that can create some confidence in looking at a bond maybe in 5 years. But the federal government and the state government has a lot of work to do around equity and properly funding infrastructure of school buildings, because when you rely solely on the general fund or local taxpayers within a school district increasing their taxes to fund school buildings, you're obviously creating inequity when a lot of homeowners in Detroit just are overtaxed already, and that's not the solution. So the federal government, I think the state government have to step up with an equitable solution to this problem, so we don't have to, in 5 years, go to Detroiters for more an increase in taxation.
Sure. Doctor, let me slip a quick little break in here. We'll come right back, talk a little bit about enrollment and some of the other exciting initiatives that you have underway in the Detroit Public Schools Community District. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Doctor, how do you hope this fits overall into enrollment?
Well, we know that before the pandemic, so spring 2020, we had our highest enrollment in probably 2 decades in the school district. We were over 51,000, and the pandemic has put a wrench in everything, and enrollment being one of them. But with that said, we've seen some increase, but we aren't where we were before the pandemic hit. With that said, I think the investment in infrastructure, the improvement of these school buildings, building new school buildings in certain areas will increase enrollment. I said it at the opening. We did a lot of community engagement about how to best use this $700 million. And we met with teachers, we met with students, we met with families and community members. And I think one thing that really stuck out for me was there was a veteran teacher at a school that said, Dr. Vitti, we haven't really talked about, we all know what our buildings look like, and but we've come to accept it. And we shouldn't have been accepting it. And I think, that is exactly right. And so when this infrastructure improves, I think it will boost morale. It's not the singular thing that will boost morale, teacher support, better pay, which we've done. And all of that is important. But at the end of the day, where you go to work every day and where you go to school and the kind of building that's in matters. A lot of our buildings have to close because it's too hot or too cold because of inadequate HVAC systems. Roofs leak and we have to try to patch it up. Our students shouldn't be dealing with that. They know that at different parts of Metro Detroit and the state and the country, there are buildings that look much better than theirs. And when they don't see that right kind of quality building, it indirectly tells them that they don't matter as much as other students.
You were able to negotiate better pay for teachers last year. Is that manifesting itself in terms of attitudes and all of the reasons why you pushed to have that done?
Well, I can tell you that that increasing teacher pay was the right thing to do regardless. I think our teachers work extremely hard, and I think our teachers work harder than the average teacher across Michigan and the country. But additional pay was also about retaining and recruiting more teachers. And so pay has definitely done that. We are one of the few districts that aren't really dealing with teacher shortages. In fact, we've hired well over 100 extra teachers than we even need based on our enrollment levels. And we've maintained that because we are going to see more teachers retire, unfortunately, in the next couple of years. So we've built a healthy bench of teachers to replace other teachers. And we have some pipeline work that we're doing with training and developing new teachers to anticipate that retirement cliff. But I think our teachers feel much better about working in DPSCD because we're paying them in a much better way. But we've done other work around better curriculum, better professional development, more teacher support. Even our safety numbers from a student perspective have gotten much better over the past couple of years. So do we have more work to do? Absolutely. But I think we've made investments and that has translated into higher retention rates and very few vacancies, especially in special education, which has always been a challenge to be fully staffed. Now we've been basically fully staffed throughout the year with extra teachers in special ed, and we've never been able to say that, definitely over the last 2 decades.
Sure. Doctor, we need to take one more quick pause for the calls. We'll come right back, a couple more questions, and then we'll get you back to your real job. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Dr. Vitti, I noticed something the other day, I think in one of the press releases that was sent out, and they talked about, which you just recently had this past week, the Evening of Fine Arts at the Fox Theater. First time that you've had that since I think around 2013. That's a good signal that some of the greatest talent in the Detroit Public Schools is now being able to showcase itself to the community in a way that it hadn't been able to do for a number of years. And then, of course, when the pandemic came in, it made it even more difficult.
Well, one of our focus points when we sought out to start to rebuild the district was restate art and music in all schools. So every school now either has an art or a music program. Some have both. But we know how talented our students are, especially in the arts, and the district, the city has such a rich history in the arts, and it is a school system. If you go back to a lot of the legends of Motown, they'll talk about the great teachers they had, the great programs that existed in DPS, and some things you don't have to do differently, you just have to bring back. And investing in the arts is one of that. But Evening of the Arts was another part of that. As a kid, I remember my grandmother taking me to the Fox Theater. I don't even know what we saw, but I just remember just being taken away from being in the Fox Theater. And I'm just excited that our students had the opportunity to perform on that stage. That's where they deserve to be, to showcase their talent. And they'll always remember that, and their family will remember that. It's going to build their self-esteem, their confidence. And we all know that among that group, there's a superstar or multiple superstars that opportunity may have just given them the boost or the exposure that they needed to go to the next level.
We know that there's certainly still some academic challenges, there's security challenges. Every big city school district faces that, even some of our smaller suburban school districts. And we know that even the state of Michigan is pushing very hard to try to become a top 10 state. That's one of the goals. Haven't reached that yet, but business leaders from Michigan and other groups have said, hopefully the right things are being done from state government and everywhere else to be able to get us to that point. But we don't see some of the friction that we used to see on the school board and between the superintendent's office and vice versa. Do you feel as though working with the board that you're changing the culture in the city of Detroit with its schools, and that you're seeing what you wanted to get done when you first applied for this job start to become fruition?
Absolutely, especially when you think about the board superintendent relationship. The city obviously has a strong history of fighting back and advocating because it has been an underdog. It hasn't received the kind of resources that it deserves. And there's a long history to that. And usually people equate doing the work linked to fighting because of the history of injustice that was part of the city, even the school district. And so because often board members are not fighting with each other or not fighting with me, sometimes people get the impression of Well, we're not really working. It's actually the opposite. We're actually getting much more done because we're not fighting. We don't always agree. I can tell you, board members individually don't always agree. I don't always agree with board members, but we don't let that play out in public. We have professional conversations. We talk to each other with respect, and we always put children first. We can have some intense conversations behind closed doors, sometimes in public, but it never gets unprofessional. And we compromise not for the sake of sacrificing kids, but we compromise in order to get things done. And I think this $700 million is an example of that. That could have been fraught with all kind of problems. Fund this school, not that school, do more of this, do more of that. We engage a community for 3 months. Everyone had their own opinions. I tried to bring that together and funnel it together. The board chair, Angelique Peterson Mayberry, did a great job in doing that, and we got it done. And so the less we fight, the more it means we're getting done and having focused conversations on children. And I think that's happening. So to answer your question, we had great momentum before this pandemic, and the pandemic put a wrench into this, just like every other industry and everyone pretty much on a personal level. But I think we're starting to get our momentum back, and this $700 million in the investment of facility work, I think represents jumpstarting that reform to go beyond this pandemic and get back to raising student achievement.
Dr. Beatty, thanks so much for joining us today on Spotlight. We'll stay in touch with you and keep up the good work.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. It's our pleasure. And coming up, we'll check in with Sandy Barua, President and CEO of the Detroit Regional Chamber. Stay with us. Sandy Barua, thanks so much for joining us today on Spotlight. Always good seeing you. I know you're getting ready for the Mackinac Policy Conference. Let me try something on you. For the person that has never been there, or maybe be their first time going, and they said, what should I expect? If I said to them, it's going to be 3 packed days of intellectual food for thought, and at the end of it, it produces a to-do list for this entire region and this entire state to a great extent. Would that be accurate?
Chuck, thank you. That's probably one of the best descriptions that I have heard of the conference, especially for someone who's never been there before. Usually I say something, vague like, well, if you've never been there before, whatever you expect, it's going to be different.
I like that too. That's a good one. What's the theme for this year? Because you always have a theme.
Yeah, so this year's theme, Arn Tellem, our chair, and I and others worked together on it. And it's really focused on the changing role of the business community in these polarizing times. I mean, these last 2.5 years, not just of COVID, but of political polarization, disinformation, the extreme media, left and right biases that we see, people not agreeing on facts. Business leaders have had to step in to the public square in a way they've never had to in the past. And that's one to be a major theme. And then a theme underneath that is the role of sports. Sports as a business, yes, but sports as a convening platform for society. Because, no matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican, we all cheer the Detroit Tigers.
The beauty of the Mackinac Conference is that you can take people from all walks of life, right, left, center, what have you, and you can have these delicate discussions, but in a safe zone, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, that term safe space is kind of politically charged, but you're exactly right, Chuck, that we say that civility still lives at the Mackinac Policy Conference, and we take that seriously. So we have Democrats and Republicans, public figures and private sector figures, education figures, philanthropy figures, all really talking about what is our common solution. Because even in today's polarized environment, and Chuck, you know this probably better than most, even in today's environment, we still have much more in common than we do apart. It's just kind of how we're trained to think these days that things divide us as opposed to unite us. There's so much to look forward to. I mean, we've got a really interesting VIP golf tournament before the conference starts, which we've never done before. I'm personally excited to see author and historian John Meacham, who's going to be, really talking about this issue about how polarized we are today and putting it in historical context. I'm really proud and to be welcoming the Republican candidates for governor. The leading candidates for governor will have a debate, up there. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things I'm looking forward to.
You've been after Steve Ballmer for a while to try to get him. You've got him coming up on the island, and you've got some real heavy names. You got Van Jones, you got Ted Capo, Mike Tirico from the sports world, Stephen Ross from the business world, Nancy Tellum, and as you mentioned, you've got John Beecham coming in.
Reputation of the Mackinac Policy Conference has really grown over the last handful of years. It is now nationally known on the speaker circuit. And not only do we not have to explain what the conference is to these national speakers or national politicians, sometimes they come even knocking on our door. So we're really pleased of the position that the conference is in and that we're able to attract the top level speakers that we do.
For the person at home, Sandy Brewer, how do they tune in, keep track of what's going on up at the island, and be able to get some of that knowledge and some of that information that's going to be shared up there so that it transplants to their everyday lives?
Yeah, a vast majority of the conference proceedings are streamed live, either on the Detroit Regional Chamber website or on Detroit Public Television's website. In addition to the sessions being streamed live, DPTV has essentially a live show going on during the conference. Christy McDonald with DPTV, is at their anchor desk right in the lobby of the Grand Hotel. And not only are they covering the sessions, but they're interviewing the speakers and the other VIPs who are in attendance.
The to-do list, very important, because after all of these discussions, it helps you come up with a list that you bring back to Southeast Michigan.
Exactly right. So every year, the chair of the conference and myself, sometimes if the governor has time, the governor will contribute to the to-do list as well too. And we pick 3, 4, maybe 5 things that were major themes out of the conference that we say to ourselves and to the audience, these are the things that we're going to commit to do coming out of this conference.
We'll make sure that we're covering as much of it as we humanly possibly can do and bring it back to the viewers on Channel 7.
Great. Thanks so much, Chuck, and thanks to you and the team.
Thank you, Sandy. And I'm Chuck Stokes. We'll be back next week with more newsmakers in the spotlight. We hope you have a great week.